but she never dreamed they'd give her better-looking legs. This little toe grip is what does it.
Show me a 70s teenage girl with bell-bottom jeans, a halter top, and platform shoes, and I'll show you someone who stopped traffic just walking down the street. Back then, if you were a teenage guy like me, you probably didn't understand most of what the girls were wearing, but you definitely noticed. They had this way of turning a hallway into a runway, even if they were just heading to biology class. Number 1. Mary Quant Makeup Palettes. You ever open a girl's purse in the 70s? No, me neither. Not if you wanted to keep your hand attached. But if you happened to catch a glimpse of the inside of a locker mirror setup, odds are you saw one of these flashy little makeup palettes with colors that looked like they belonged in a cartoon. Mary Quant turned makeup into a full-blown spectacle. Neon blues, hot pinks, frosted greens. This wasn't your mom's powder compact. It was a paint set for your eyelids. And the girls went all in. Bright shadows, matching blush, lipstick so glossy it could double as a rearview mirror. Some of it made sense under disco lights. Some of it? Well, it took confidence. But teenage girls in the 70s had plenty of that. Number 2. Bell-bottom jeans.
Bush jeans, blue jeans, bells, beautiful Levi's matching coveralls, knickers, and knits. And we cried for more.
Bell-bottoms weren't just pants. They were a movement. And teenage girls in the 70s, they turned those denim flares into a full-on fashion declaration. The bigger the flare, the better. Some of them were so wide you could have hidden a toaster oven in each leg. And when they walked, they didn't just walk, they swished. You could hear the denim whispering with every step. But if they rode a bike, that was a whole different story. The girls came up with this genius trick of wrapping rubber bands around the bottoms so they wouldn't get caught in the chain. It worked, mostly. Still didn't stop a few pant legs from getting shredded, but that didn't matter. Bell-bottoms weren't about practicality. They were about making an entrance, and sometimes tripping over it. Number 3. The Farrah Fawcett Hair Flip.
Now you could buy the Head and Shoulders. We're out.
Okay, can I borrow some money?
There was one hairstyle in the 70s that reigned supreme, and it had a name. Farah. Every teenage girl tried to get it. Some pulled it off. Most tried for weeks. You'd see girls carrying hot rollers in their school bags like it was standard equipment. The goal was that perfect feathered flip, out on the sides, curled under at the ends, with just enough bounce to look like you'd been caught in a gentle wind machine. Farrah Fawcett didn't just sell hair products. She started a national mission. And we all noticed. That hair bounced in slow motion. It framed faces like a halo, and it smelled like a mix of Aqua Net, Breck shampoo, and whatever fruity product was trending that week. One time, here's my one personal story. My sister burned her forehead trying to get the Farrah look with a curling iron. She wore a Band-Aid and told everyone it was from karate practice. Nobody bought it, but we all respected the dedication. Number 4. Doctor. Scholes wooden sandals.
This little toe grip is what does it. With every step, the toes cling to it, flexing the leg muscles, then relaxing them, then flexing.
You heard them before you saw them. Clack, clack, clack down the school hallway. And then there she was, walking like she owned the place on a pair of wooden soles, held together by a single strap. Dr. Scholes' sandals were supposed to be healthy, but let me tell you, they looked like something from a medieval punishment exhibit. The girls would slide halfway out of one and still keep going like nothing happened. Meanwhile, the rest of us winced just watching. But they made it work. You had to admire the commitment. Those things left bruises, real ones. Still, girls swore by them. It was part of the look. Pain, but make it fashion. Number 5. Clogs. There was a specific kind of confidence that came from walking around in clogs, especially the ones from Tom McCann or Baker's. You'd hear a rhythmic clomp-clomp coming down the hall, and you knew, without looking, that a girl was making her grand arrival. They weren't delicate shoes. They were loud, heavy, and built like furniture. Sometimes they had buckles, sometimes studs, and occasionally a heel high enough to make a gym coach nervous. Girls wore them with everything: skirts, jeans, painter pants, you name it. And no matter how clunky they looked, somehow they still managed to glide in them. I couldn't figure it out. I once tripped in my sneakers trying to impress a girl wearing clogs. She didn't even look down. All right, quick reality check. Most of you watching right now aren't subscribed. And hey, I get it. We all forget. But here's the deal. If you've watched more than one of my videos, maybe it's time we make this official. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, it helps more than you know, and it tells me you want to keep this 70s nostalgia train rolling. If this is your first video, no pressure. But if you're back for seconds, go ahead and give that button a click. And while we're at it, if you're hanging out on Facebook, come join me there too. See you over there, thanks. Number 6. Ponytail holders with plastic balls. They sounded like castanets when girls walked by. Those double-ball ponytail holders that snapped into place with the kind of force that could probably launch a small satellite. I never figured out why they were so popular. They looked like two jawbreakers on a bungee cord. But girls had drawers full of them. Clear ones, glittery ones, neon, pearlized, whatever matched their mood that day. You could hear the snap when they tied them tight, and then there was the inevitable smack against the scalp if one slipped. Still, every girl wore them. It was like some sort of badge of honor. And if you ever sat behind someone with a high ponytail and those plastic balls bouncing around, you were in the splash zone. Number 7. Toe socks. These were the weirdest socks I'd ever seen. Every toe got its own sleeve, like gloves for your feet. Rainbow stripes, crazy patterns, total eye-grabbers. Girls would wear them with open-toe clogs or sandals. Because, of course, what's the point of wearing psychedelic toe socks if you don't show off every last toe? From a guy's perspective, they looked like something out of a cartoon. I always figured they had to be a nightmare to put on, especially when you were running late. But then again, fashion wasn't about convenience. It was about being seen. And toe socks got seen. Number 8. White painter pants. Some girls wore jeans, but cool girls? They wore painter pants, and not just any painter pants. I'm talking about the extra white ones that looked like they'd been washed in sunlight and Clorox until they were practically glowing. They had odd pockets and a weird loop on the side, probably meant for a hammer, but I never saw anyone carrying tools. The whole point was that they were different, loose in the leg, high at the waist, and just rebellious enough to get a look from a teacher without getting detention. Number 9. Gunne Sax dresses. Now here's something that really made no sense to a teenage guy. Gunne Sax dresses. They looked like something from a Jane Austen movie. Lace, puffed sleeves, corset-style bodices, and yet girls in the 70s wore them like they were headed to prom on a prairie. Jessica McClintock must have had a hotline to every teenage girl's heart, because Gunne Sax was the brand if you wanted to look romantic, innocent, and slightly medieval. And they worked. When a girl walked into a school dance wearing a Gunne Sax dress, the whole room slowed down. Guys didn't understand the ruffles or the satin ribbons, but we knew enough to shut up and stare. You didn't mess with a girl in a Gunne Sax. She was there to dance, to twirl, and to own the night. Number 10. Frosted lipstick.
The great American lipstick the whole world loves. It stays on and on. So full of moisturizers, your lips always feel wet, wet, wet.
Last but not least, the shimmer. Frosted lipstick was everywhere. Pale pink, icy lilac, silver-ish peach. It was like every girl was trying to look like she just stepped out of a freezer and onto a magazine cover. You'd see it gleaming across the lunchroom. Some shades looked radioactive under the fluorescent lights, but that didn't stop anyone. In fact, the shinier, the better. It paired perfectly with the eyeshadow, the hair, the whole disco daydream meets high school hallway vibe. And if you were lucky enough to slow dance with someone wearing frosted lipstick, odds are it left a mark on your collar or cheek or ego So there you have it. 10 unforgettable things teenage girls rocked in the 70s, while the rest of us stood back and watched in awe and a little confusion. We didn't always get it, the toe socks, the clogs, the makeup that sparkled like foil. But we remember, because the girls who wore it didn't need approval. Just bell-bottoms, a frosted lip, and Donna Summer on the radio. Think I missed one? Drop it in the comments, hit like and subscribe. We'll keep digging through the best decade there ever was. Catch you next time. And hey, keep a rubber band handy. Bell-bottoms have a way of coming back.